Have you ever held a simple quarter in your hand and wondered what if this little coin was actually worth thousands or even millions of dollars? Well, believe it or not, there are some rare 1981 era Washington quarter dollar out there that could turn the dream into reality. What if I told you that a coin you might have spent on a cup of coffee decades ago could now pay for your dream home, a luxury car, or even a lifetime of financial comfort? How you look at every single coin in your pocket, the 1981 Washington quarter dollar carries a fascinating legacy. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, this coin was never intended to be collectible. It was meant for circulation, just another piece of everyday American commerce. But what makes it extraordinary today are the rare and valuable minting errors that slip through quality control, creating coins that collectors and experts now pay thousands, and in some extreme cases, even hundreds of thousands of dollars for, depending on their condition. Rarity. One of the most valuable and talked about varieties is the 1981 off-center strike quarter. This happens when the blank planchet isn't properly centered between the dies during striking. Depending on how off-center the strike is, whether it's 5%, 25%, or more than 50%, the value can skyrocket. A minor off-center strike might fetch $100 to $300. But if the date and mint mark are still visible and the strike is significantly off-center, collectors have paid over $1,000 for these coins. In some cases, dramatic off-center errors in near mint condition have reached values of $2,500 or more at major auctions. But there's another, even rarer type of error that sends collectors into a frenzy, the 1981 double die obverse. This error occurs when the coin die impresses the design twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the date, the word Liberty. Or it's one of the most visually stunning and valuable varieties because the doubling can be clearly seen without magnification. These coins, depending on the intensity and clarity of the doubling, can easily bring $500 to $5,000 or more, especially when certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC in mint state condition. What truly makes these coins valuable isn't just the error itself, it's the combination of rarity, condition, and demand. A 1981 quarter with an error that's clearly visible and authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS, NGC, or ANACS can multiply in value overnight. Collectors often pay premium prices for coins in mint state MS65 and above, or those with unique error combinations, such as a double die and off-center strike together, a truly one-of-a-kind rarity that could fetch $10,000 or more at the right auction. What if I told you that some of these ordinary-looking quarters from 1982 have errors so rare, so extraordinary, that collectors are willing to pay life-changing sums of money for? Yes. The 1982 era Washington quarter dollar is one of those hidden treasures that could turn a small piece of metal into a massive fortune. Stay with me until the end of this video, because the story behind this coin will make you look at every quarter in your collection differently forever. The year 1982 was a big one in American coinage history. The U.S. Mint was making major changes, especially with how coins were produced and marked. For the first time, the Mint decided to stop producing mint sets and proof sets for collectors, focusing instead on circulation coins. That means fewer pristine examples and more room for striking mistakes to slip through the cracks, mistakes that would become some of the rarest and most valuable error coins in modern U.S. history. One of the most eye-catching varieties is the 1982 off-center strike quarter. Off-center strike might only be worth $5,000 to $7,000. But if it's significantly off-center, say 40% or more, and still shows the date and mint mark, collectors will pay $1,000 to $2,500 or more, depending on the grade and visual appeal. Some dramatic examples in mint state condition have fetched over $5,000 at auction. Another highly valuable variety is the 1982 double die obverse. These coins can sell anywhere from $500 to $5,000, depending on the strength of the doubling and the coin's condition. A few extremely bold examples have sold for $8,000 or more when certified in high mint states by grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Then there are the clipped planchet errors, where the metal blank used to strike the coin was improperly cut, leaving a crescent-shaped section missing from the coin's edge. $2,000 and $3,000, with the most dramatic examples, especially those that retain full details, fetching several $1,000s. Wrong planchet strike. These occur when a quarter is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different coin, such as a dime, a nickel, or even a foreign coin. One such error has been reported selling for over $7,000. And others with more extreme differences can go as high as $15,000 to $25,000. Some collectors have paid astonishing sums for top-grade, error-free 1982 quarters as well. A pristine, perfectly struck example graded MS67 can still fetch $500 to $1,000, simply due to the rarity of high-grade coins from this year. But when you combine that kind of condition with a dramatic mint error, the value skyrockets. Coins graded MS67 or MS68 with visible doubling or planchet errors can reach $10,000, $25,000, or even $50,000 depending on demand and rarity. The incredible reality of the 1983 era Washington quarter dollar. This unassuming coin, struck during one of the most turbulent years in U.S. mint history, hides some of the rarest and most valuable minting errors ever seen. By the end of this video, you'll never look at another quarter the same way again. Because the one sitting in your pocket right now might just change your life. The year 1983 was a turning point for American coinage, the U.S. Mint was recovering from years of high inflation, metal shortages, and cost-cutting transitions that had changed the way coins were made. Just a year earlier, the mint stopped producing mint sets for collectors, meaning that 1983 quarters were struck only for circulation. No special sets, no collector issues. That decision made high-quality 1983 P quarters extremely hard to find, and it also allowed a number of rare minting errors to slip through undetected. One of the most famous types is the 1983 P off-center strike error. This happens when the blank planchet isn't perfectly aligned during the striking process. The result is a coin with part of the design missing, often leaving large blank areas. A slight off-center strike might only be worth $100 to $300, but a dramatic one, especially one showing the full date and mint mark, can command $1,000 to $5,000 at auction. In mint state grades, some of these dramatic off-center strikes have sold for over $7,000, making them some of the most desirable modern U.S. mint errors. Another incredibly valuable and popular type is the 1983 P double die obverse. The effect is unmistakable letters appear shadowed or doubled. Depending on how bold the doubling is, these coins can sell anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 or more, particularly when certified in high grades by PCGS or NGC. But one of the most fascinating and valuable errors from this year is the 1983 P quarter struck on the wrong planchet. These mistakes are incredibly rare and can sell for jaw-dropping amounts. For instance, a 1983 P quarter struck on a dime planchet can fetch $5,000 to $15,000, while those struck on foreign plankets or other unusual metals have been known to sell for tens of thousands of dollars. For example, in 2014, a collector found a 1983 P quarter struck on a copper planchet, possibly from a penny blank, and it sold for nearly $15,000 at auction. Another collector sold a pristine 1983 P spitting eagle quarter graded MS67 by PCGS for over $4,000. And then there are the legendary rumors of silver planchet strikes, one of which, if verified and sold at a major auction today, could easily exceed $100,000 due to its unprecedented rarity. The story of the 1984 P era Washington quarter dollar will make you look at every coin in your pocket with brand new eyes. Quarters contain errors so valuable, so mysterious, that collectors and treasure hunters have spent decades searching for them. This ordinary-looking 25-cent coin has turned up at auctions with jaw-dropping price tags, shocking even seasoned numismatists. The year 1984 was an interesting one for American coinage. The Philadelphia Mint, marked by the letter P on the obverse side of the coin, was operating at full speed. Millions of Washington quarters were struck that year, each bearing the iconic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan back in 1932. On the obverse, we see Washington's bust facing left, with the inscriptions Liberty and the date 1984. The reverse displays the proud American eagle, wings spread wide, clutching olive branches, a timeless image of strength and peace. One of the most fascinating and valuable varieties from this year is the 1984 P double die obverse. This error occurs when the die that imprints the coin's design receives multiple impressions at slightly different angles, resulting in a striking doubling effect on the coin's details. Look closely at Liberty, or the date 1984. If the letters or numbers look shadowed or duplicated, you may be holding a true rarity. Depending on the strength and visibility of the doubling, these coins can sell for $3,000 to $5,000, and exceptional examples certified in mint state condition can reach $10,000 or more. Next up, there's the off-center strike error, one of the most dramatic minting mistakes that instantly grabs attention off the edge. Minor off-center strikes 5% or 10% off might be worth $100 or $200, but more extreme ones, where the strike is 40% or more off-center, while still showing the full date and mint mark, can sell for $2,000 to $5,000. In pristine condition, Some have gone for over $7,000 simply because of their rarity and visual impact. Then we have one of the most intriguing types of errors, the wrong planchet error. These mistakes are exceptionally rare, and collectors pay top dollar for them. A 1980 for P-quarter struck on a dime planchet, for example, has been known to sell for $5,000 to $10,000, while those struck on foreign blankets or other denominations have reached values exceeding $25,000 or more. Now imagine finding a 1980 for P Washington quarter struck on a silver planchet could easily command $50,000 to $90,000, or possibly even more. Experts believe only a handful could exist, making them the ultimate hidden treasures for modern coin collectors. Once you suspect you have something special, the next step is to have it authenticated and graded by a professional service like PCGS, NGC, or NX. A certified coin not only proves its authenticity, but can dramatically increase its market value. Collectors are far more likely to pay premium prices for certified errors with official documentation. The thrilling reality of the 1985 P error Washington quarter dollar. Hidden among billions of regular coins lies a small number of rare minting mistakes that have turned everyday pocket change into treasures of unimaginable value. These coins aren't just metal, they're living history, holding secrets that can make collectors' hearts race and wallets explode. So stay tuned until the very end of this video, because what you're about to discover might just make you dig through every coin jar you own. The 1985 P Washington quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the busiest coin-producing facilities in the world. Over 775 million quarters rolled out that year, each bearing the familiar image of George Washington on the obverse, designed by John Flanagan in 1932. Washington's profile, facing left, is framed by the words Liberty and the date 1985. On the reverse side, the proud American eagle spreads its wings over a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and readiness to defend peace. One of the most valuable 1985 P Washington quarter errors is the double die obverse, a striking flaw that creates a doubled image on key design elements. Under magnification, you can see doubling on the inscriptions and even the date 1985. These doubled letters and numbers look like ghostly shadows, a clear sign of a die that received multiple impressions at slightly different angles. Depending on the strength and clarity of the doubling, these coins can fetch $5,000 to $10,000, and in exceptional mint state condition, some have been estimated to reach $15,000 or more. Another dramatic and sought-after variety is the off-center strike error. This occurs when the blank planchet isn't properly aligned during striking, causing the design to be partially missing or shifted. Minor off-center strikes, such as 5% or 10%, might bring $100 to $200, but if you have one that's 40% or more off-center, especially if the full date and mint mark are still visible, you could be looking at a coin worth $3,000 to $7,500, or even more if in uncirculated condition. These coins are visually stunning, instantly recognizable, and highly collectible. Then there's the clipped planchet error, which occurs when the coin blank is punched out from the edge of the metal strip, leaving a curved bite missing from the rim. These are usually easy to identify, with part of the coin missing, but the rest perfectly struck. A single clip might be worth $100 to $1,000, while double or triple clips, extremely rare, can sell for $2,500 or more, depending on the condition and size of the missing section. Some 1985 P quarters were struck on wrong plankets, making them among the most exciting error coins of the year. This happens when a planchet intended for another denomination accidentally gets fed into the quarter press. For example, a 1985 P quarter struck on a dime planchet is smaller and weighs less than usual, missing parts of the design around the edge. These can bring $4,000 to $8,000, while those struck on foreign or experimental plankets can command $10,000 to $25,000, depending on the rarity of the metal composition. A silver planchet error, though still unconfirmed for 1985, could theoretically be worth $50,000 to $70,000 if one were ever discovered. Even regular 1985 P quarters in perfect condition are valuable today. Because of the high mintages and the lack of special collector sets that year, finding a perfectly struck, uncirculated coin is surprisingly difficult. A 1985 P Washington quarter graded MS67 by PCGS or NGC can sell for $6,000 to $1,000, while a top pop MS68 example, virtually flawless, can reach $2,500 to $4,000 at auction. Combine that kind of grade with a major mint error, and you're suddenly looking at $10,000 to $50,000 coins, or even more for particularly dramatic pieces.